Hey Vikings Nation, are you ready for some huge Minnesota Vikings news today? Because something big is brewing in Minnesota, and trust me, this could completely reshape the quarterback story for the Minnesota Vikings this season. Imagine a former #1 overall pick stepping into the building with everything to prove, while a young quarterback fights to hold onto his future with the team. That's exactly the kind of drama Vikings fans live for. But here's the twist that has everyone talking across the NFL world. Former defensive superstar James Harrison just called this moment a last chance for Kyler Murray. Those are strong words, and they've sparked a huge debate among analysts and fans. Is Murray truly fighting for his career? Or could this actually be the comeback story of the year for the Vikings? And it gets even more interesting, because Murray isn't walking into Minnesota as the guaranteed starter. Instead, he's stepping into a heated quarterback battle with J.J. McCarthy. So today we're breaking down the entire situation, what it means for the Minnesota Vikings, and why this could become one of the most fascinating QB competitions in the entire league. And trust me, Vikings fans, you're going to want to stay until the end of this one. The conversation exploded after comments on the Debo and Joe podcast, where former Steelers stars James Harrison and Joe Hayden shared their thoughts on Murray's future. Harrison didn't hold back at all when he described Murray's move to Minnesota as a final opportunity to prove himself in the NFL. According to Harrison, Murray has always had incredible talent, but questions about his consistency as a passer have followed him throughout his career. He believes Murray sometimes relies too heavily on his athletic ability instead of fully working through his reads and progressions. And now, with the Minnesota Vikings, Harrison thinks the pressure has never been higher. But not everyone agrees with that take. Joe Hayden pushed back during the discussion, saying Murray still has the tools to completely turn things around. And honestly, Vikings fans, when you look at the situation in Minnesota, you can understand why some analysts believe this could actually be the perfect environment for a comeback. Let's talk about the reality of Murray's situation. After being released by the Arizona Cardinals, the quarterback signed a one-year deal with the Minnesota Vikings, essentially betting on himself. That kind of contract sends a clear message across the league. Murray believes he can prove his value again. Reports suggest the deal includes a no-tag clause, which is a huge detail. That means if Murray performs well this season with the Vikings, the team won't be able to keep him with the franchise tag. Instead, he could hit free agency again and potentially land a massive contract elsewhere. So when you look at it from that angle, you can see why analysts say this season is so important. Murray isn't just trying to win a starting job, he's trying to rebuild his entire reputation across the NFL. But here's where things get really fascinating for Minnesota Vikings fans. Murray isn't entering the building as the clear QB1. Instead, he's stepping into direct competition with the young quarterback the Vikings drafted as their future, J.J. McCarthy. McCarthy already saw action during the 2025 season, starting 10 games and showing flashes of potential. However, his performance didn't completely silence the debate about the Vikings' long-term quarterback plan. That uncertainty opened the door for the Vikings to bring in Murray. And make no mistake, this move instantly raises the stakes in training camp. Now every practice, every preseason snap, and every decision from head coach Kevin O'Connell will be under a microscope. From the Vikings' perspective, this is actually a very smart move. Instead of committing fully to one quarterback too early, Minnesota now has two very different options competing for the job. On one side, you have McCarthy, the younger quarterback with long-term upside who could still develop into the franchise leader. On the other side, you have Murray, a former Pro Bowler with explosive playmaking ability who has already proven he can succeed in the NFL. That contrast is exactly why this quarterback battle is so intriguing. It's not just about who wins the starting job. It's about what direction the Minnesota Vikings choose for their future. And when we look at Murray's career numbers, you can see why some analysts still believe in him. Across his NFL career, he has thrown for more than 20,000 yards and over 120 touchdown passes, while also adding more than 3,000 rushing yards with his legs. Those dual-threat abilities are exactly what could make him dangerous in the Vikings offense. Just imagine Murray scrambling out of the pocket and launching a deep pass to superstar receiver Justin Jefferson. That combination alone could give defensive coordinators nightmares. However, the concerns raised by critics like Harrison are also real. Murray's size, durability, and pocket decision-making have all been questioned at different points in his career. That's why this upcoming season with the Minnesota Vikings could truly define the next chapter of his career. If he thrives in Kevin O'Connell's system, the narrative could shift from last chance to one of the greatest quarterback comeback stories in recent memory. But if McCarthy outperforms him and secures the starting job, Murray might find himself slipping into a backup role across the league. And Vikings fans know how quickly the NFL can change a player's trajectory. So now the big question for Vikings Nation is this: who do you believe should be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings this season? Do you trust the upside of J.J. McCarthy and believe he's the future of the franchise? Or do you think KYLER Murray's experience and explosive playmaking could push the Vikings to another level? Drop your opinion in the comments right now because I want to hear what real Vikings fans think about this quarterback battle. And if you love staying updated with the latest Minnesota Vikings news, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other members of the Vikings community. Because one thing is certain, Vikings Nation training camp is going to be absolutely electric this year. And the quarterback battle between KYLER Murray and J.J. McCarthy might end up being the story that defines the entire Minnesota Vikings season. Purple Circle Fire.